Welcome to Just Ask Freeman with Freeman Owen Jr. He is the CEO and founder of Financial Sources, Inc. for almost 45 years. You are amazing.
I tell you, it takes stamina, dedication.
The love of a good woman.
And I'll add that too, and the support to take the risk and leaving a well-paying job in my 20s and to embark on this type of career journey. I love it. And
you can tell.
Yeah, it's just part of me. And it's a career where you come in contact with so many people and you develop relationships. See, that's the key. It's not just filling out an application, giving them the pen.
Right.
Like I said, I don't charge any fees or anything like that, but transfers and rollovers and making sure income planning. Well,
I think you're addicted to making people's dreams come true. And I know that feels good when someone comes in and goes, oh gosh, I have no idea what's happening. And you start with your beautiful plan and all these different opportunities. I know that's what really drives you.
And the plans are designed so that the layperson who's preparing for retirement or already retired, the interpretation is simple and not complex. You don't get the betas and the wherewithals and no, simple. And I use guaranteed income producing products. That's why I always tell you I stay in my lane. And that's what I do. You know, various types of annuities, long-term care, life insurance. You'd be surprised how that could fit into your portfolio and generate tax-free income. Conversions, Roth conversions. That is, being able to convert traditional IRAs into Roth IRAs. And you'll say, well, what is a Roth IRA? This is where you have the opportunity to contribute to an instrument, 5-year wait, age 59 and a half, can generate tax-free income, not only for you, but for your spouse and your children. And
when you say contribute, it doesn't mean come out of your pocket. He means look at how much you have in your 401k or TSP or IRA and decide what you can kind of slice off and move to that safe money bucket, and exactly. That's how you fund it.
That's it. And it helps too where you don't have to take, with the Roth, no required minimum distribution.
It's done. You don't pay taxes on it.
Excuse me, no, you don't. And something else too. We'll be able to determine, audience, when do I take a distribution from or RMD from my traditional IRA, will I be in a lower tax bracket or higher tax bracket? Compare that to a Roth, which generates tax-free income. Now, sometimes it's not good for you to convert a traditional IRA to a Roth. It depends on a lot of different factors. That's why we'll sit down and discuss what's important to you, whether or not we can have a Roth IRA. We can also have a 401k and IRA combined savings strategy.
Oh.
Yeah. And if you want to know how to do that, folks, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. All that is centered around tax-efficient distributions from your tax-efficient report. Call me today, 833-414-7233, and I'll talk about and discuss with you and develop either a Roth conversion, whether it's advantageous for you, where to get the money to pay the taxes up front for the Roth. Now, that's a mystery to a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen some Roth conversions that come that had, or there had been Roth conversions that are completed, and they were done the wrong way.
And what happens?
And so you cannot recharacterize, that's what they call it, back to the traditional. Once it's into the Roth, it has been structured as a Roth. You can't convert it back to a traditional IRA.
So you have to do it right.
You have to do it right the first time. I heard someone say, a second opinion. You might be able to help me with this.
Yeah, you can't get the second opinion from the person who gave you the first. It's so true. And the bigger thing, I think, that consumer advocates really should get the word out. If you are with a broker, it is 100% different. This is not a true fiduciary. Anyone can put financial advisor or financial planner, but unless you, so that is the first question. Even if you don't come with Mr. Freeman, that is the first question. Are you a fiduciary? Why is that so important?
Well, because you have to look out for the best interests of your client.
And higher education, too.
Higher education. You have to disclose your compensation. And the potential client can look at someone who is, not all the time, but know if they're really sincere to look out for their best interest and the trustworthiness. I put that in there too. Folks trust me with millions of dollars and I tell them, thank you so much for your trust over the years.
Definitely.
The trustworthiness plays a big part of being a fiduciary or being have the fiduciary responsibility to look out for the best interests of your client. Got some smart clients, well educated in the Washington metropolitan area and in other states now that are, like I said, educated and have in positions of even power to see, this guy gonna look out for my best interest with my money? Yes, I do. Just ask Freeman, and Freeman's gonna look out for your best interest to come up with a good tax efficient report. Your Social Security report, how to avoid, how to have, disclose to you in my book, the 10 IRA mistakes and how to avoid the tax traps. You can see it right there on the screen. And if you want to know more about this tax efficient report and how it's developed just for you and your Social Security report, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. Call today. And Rebecca, I'm going to ask, we got slots. Look like we have more slots.
Each week we save some.
That's right.
For the show, yes.
10. All right, there they are. In which you can call 833-414-7233. You can also go to our landing page. We have a QR code right there, right on the screen to your left. And I'll be happy to help you I want to put this out there for you to have the fiduciary, a person who's a fiduciary, have the fiduciary responsibility to look out for your best interests. It is a must. And that's why I stay in my lane.
Absolutely. And
stay right there in my lane.
And you're so confident because I know you've changed so many lives. That's also why there is no risk, no obligation, no pressure, not selling you anything. Leave the checkbook at home. It really is an amazing opportunity. If you want to know if you are ready to retire, maybe just get a second opinion. You might be on the right track. Stay with us. Just Ask Freeman with more right after this.
We're frequently asked where we think tax rates are headed. Most experts agree tax rates will eventually have to go up as our federal debt increases. Without any changes, the government's current plan is set to expire in 2025. Every penny counts, especially in your retirement. Is your current plan efficient and optimized to reduce your tax obligation? Contact us today. Just Ask Freeman. For a complimentary review, reach us at 833-414-7233.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman. I'm Rebecca Powers here, of course, with the great Freeman Owen Jr., who has been doing this for 45 years. I know the holistic fiduciary, higher education, lower fees, this is really becoming the wave of the future. A lot of big boxes are losing their, after 6 months, we're hearing the washout rate with their young brokers. How have you changed through the years? And did you see families in total distress, and with your plan, you have pulled them out? It's never too early, it's never too late.
No, what I've done is adapted to the changes in the financial services industry. Very simple, well-trained, workshops, state and federal exams, I got software. I won't go through the cost, but the thing is to have available tools there readily available so that my clients can see, gee, that's
surprising.
I didn't know.
Risk.
Yeah, I didn't know about my money has been at risk all this time. And see, Rebecca, I say I don't have to hide under the desk and tell my staff, turn the lights off. Rebecca's out front. And I put her in some of that cryptocurrency stuff, and it went up and down and went away. Well,
Or in the market, and she watched the news last night.
and she couldn't sleep well at night. Jeez, why did I do that? No, I don't do that. Just ask Freeman.
Because you stay in your lane. That's another one of his famous quotes.
I got to laugh at that because I do stay in my lane, and I do have fun with this career, and my clients appreciate the services, and I appreciate them, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your trust. I say that all the time, and you'll enjoy the fact, and you have that peace of mind and can sleep well at night. Gee, I don't have to worry about that piece of asset because you might have had 250, 500,000, $1 million. We don't want all, just some, because you should be more of a conservative mode in the distribution. And you got to make that piece, which we'll have to say, guaranteed lifetime income, and that income will be around longer than you. And then your spouse continues. And then your children and grandchildren and your great-grand. Multi-levels of income. Speaking of multi-levels, I got a piece here that I'd like to share.
Okay.
It's called beneficiaries. It's very, very important how you designate beneficiaries.
And to update them.
Yes.
Because you have a relationship with your clients. It's not set it and forget it, and you don't hear from you in 5 years.
What happens is that you must have the distinction. When it comes to beneficiary, you're transferring wealth, and you need to know some of the obstacles that are in the way when monies is transferred with certain products to your children and to your grandchildren. And questions have been asked. I've got 3 children, and I'd like to have my 3 children's children, which are my grandchildren, I'd like to leave them a legacy. Well, there's per stirpes that can be designated for non-spouses for our children and grandchildren, and per capita. Now, if you'd like to know the definitions of what I just indicated, per stirpes and per capita, assigned to the beneficiaries based on your retirement needs, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. Now, the reason I mentioned that is we were talking about guaranteed lifetime income. And when it comes to non-spouses, I think we talked about the Secure Act. And we went as far as the Secure Act 2.0 just recently passed. For non-spouses, the beneficiary has got to be designated properly, and so that the wealth can be transferred. And we talked about the 10-year rule. We want to make sure that those funds go. We talked about the 3 major sources: Social Security, the 401k, and other income producing assets. And now we talk about the beneficiaries. We know that we'll have spousal consent from tax qualified plans, or I should say spousal continuation. Then we got to look at the children, and that's where wealth has to be transferred generation to generation. If
Yes.
you know, yes. So it's not, and some of you do have a concern, because there have been times when clients come into the office and they have income producing assets and they want it designated only for the grandchildren. Well, what do you do about that? Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. Got the answer. not only would we have the tax efficient plan for you and how to receive your Social Security benefits, but a lot of you are concerned about, well, gee, I got a grandchild and I like to, or grandchildren, I wanted to make sure that this piece of my retirement income, or they specify, I like for my grandchildren to be beneficiaries.
Right, and you have to change that. I know there have been horror stories that someone didn't change their beneficiary, they were remarried, and when he passed, his ex-wife got everything, who he didn't even have children with. So it is extremely important to have someone on your team like Freeman and your entire wonderful group. Let's give that number real quickly, invite them in and tell them no pressure, and what can they expect in that first visit?
Okay, the tax efficient report, your Social Security report. Sit down, and we're going to do basically a budget.
Great.
And I got software. Our expenses, mortgages, utilities, food. Those are things you got to think about. That outlay goes out there, and remember how inflation is. Don't care whether you're retired or not. We line up those things, and with software, just go down the line there. Unexpected expenses, savings, liquidity. And I use liquidity, I define it as monies that are available, that are liquid, and monies that are available for opportunity.
Fantastic.
Okay. A good example of that is in 2008, 2009, we had the Great Recession. Those who had good credit and monies in banks for liquidity were able to acquire distressed properties.
That's right.
That's right.
Big opportunity.
That's right. So that was liquid monies, not only for unexpected expenses, but it was an opportunity to acquire properties and increase your net worth. Folks, you want some financial literacy besides your Social Security report, besides your tax efficient plan? Just ask Freeman. Call me at 833-414-7233 and learn financial literacy, how to pass assets onto your children. I mentioned per stirpes and per capita.
Absolutely.
You need to know what that means to your legacy, to your loved ones. You have guaranteed lifetime income. The spouse has guaranteed lifetime. But what about our children as beneficiaries? With the new Secure Act 2.0, we talked about that on the show. How would those assets be delivered to your children? The most tax efficient way. There you go.
That's right.
Just ask Freeman. You better call me at 833-414-7233. Can we get at least 5 to 10 more slots in there because that's filling up very
Absolutely.
quickly.
I'm sure our producer will do that for us. All right, stay with us more with Freeman Owen Jr. and how you can make your retirement dreams come true. It is not that difficult. Just takes one call. We'll be right back.
Unexpected events like a global pandemic can turn our world upside down overnight. They can cause volatile shifts in the market and may cause you to question the confidence in your current retirement plan. As a pre-retiree or retiree, knowing you have a plan that can withstand the worst economic conditions can help you sleep at night. Contact us today for your complimentary review to find out where you stand. Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233.
All right, thanks for staying with us. We're always talking on the breaks. You said a word in our last block, and I wrote it down. Per stirpes?
Yes.
Okay, never heard of it. Please explain.
All right. I'd love to have a visual for that, but I don't. I'll use you for an example. You have 3 children. One of your children has 2 children.
Okay.
So you designated the beneficiaries, primaries, are your 3 children, and then you designated your 2 grandchildren as contingent beneficiaries. Now, you have each one of your children, there are equal shares, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. You had it set up in the event that the child that had the 2 children, in the event of his demise, the monies would go to your 2 grandchildren. Okay. Now, like I said, what the next show, I'll have a visual, hopefully. And then you could see the loss of one child. You passed two. What happened? The loss of this child. The funds are divided equally among the other two children, and the two kids under that are contingents get zero. All right?
Wow.
Yeah. Because what happened is that each one got a third.
Right.
So the two living kids received 1/2 and 1/2 of the third child.
Unless you do a revocable will
Yeah.
or something that puts it in stone.
Exactly. So that's where the legal advice would come in. And then the per capita is where you made sure that each child and the two children received equal shares.
Gotcha.
All right. So if you'd like to know a little bit more how to designate the beneficiaries so that your wealth will be transferred properly, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233 and set up a consultation. No obligation, no fees. Come and visit us, and we'll set up your income-producing assets to generate lifetime income. Beneficiary designation is so important. And even my existing clients, if you haven't seen me yet, for a review of your beneficiaries, call us at 833-414-7233. You know how to contact me for that, because at this point, maybe some of your adult children are ready to learn financial literacy.
That'd be great if you could do it all
great.
together.
Yeah.
You've got multi-generational.
Exactly.
You said you've done grandparents who've passed, then their children, even their grandchildren.
And
how important is that to
that
have
is
your
very,
children completely aware of what's going on so they're not surprised or
Exactly.
hurt?
You know, they're not surprised, they're not hurt. You know, they don't get into fist fights and fisticuffs. Oh,
Right.
Mom left me that, Dad left me this. No, it's mine. Folks, you want to straighten out that kind of problem? I don't resolve fights, but the thing is, what I do is help you with your financial literacy so you know what to do when it comes to distribution of monies that are that was made available for by your parents or grandparents, and even setting up programs for yourself, tax-efficient plan, when to file for Social Security, how to use other income-producing assets, and then your non-spouses, your children and your grandchildren, how to have the designated beneficiary. That is important, because in some cases, with some products, the beneficiaries trumps the will.
Oh, wow. Like certain annuities
Exactly.
do that
It
and
does
avoid
that.
probate.
Yeah, you take some annuities. Now, I like fixed indexed annuities. I'm not pushing that, but the thing is,
It might be right for some people.
yeah, be
it
right
was
for
right
some people,
for my
and
husband
maybe
and me.
not. Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you, well, this doesn't work well for you.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Right.
When you want to know, just ask Freeman. Well, I wanted to get your opinion, Freeman. Well, this doesn't work for you, or it works well for you.
Right.
Now, when it comes to, I used to do, sometime I'd say things like, with a large audience live, I said, do you have a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law you just don't like? Now, you're thinking about transferring your monies, and your son and your daughter's there is married.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, here comes beneficiary designated properly. In the event of divorce, there is no probate for this particular product. The funds go directly to the beneficiary, and the daughter-in-law or son-in-law you don't like, even if in a divorce decree, would not be this piece of asset, like an annuity.
Yeah.
That's not included. It goes directly to your children.
Wow. So if you don't like your son-in-law, you could bypass your daughter and just send it directly to your grandchildren.
Well, no. Here is, you designate the benefit. That's why beneficiary designation is important. You have a son,
I see.
and he's married. Now, you love your grandchildren. You might have something for them. But when it comes to the funds that you've designated for your son, he is the beneficiary and recipient of the funds that you put in place for him.
Right. I see what you mean.
You might have a possibility of no probate, where your funds are not determined on I'll put it this way, the judicial system is not determining the disposition of your assets that you have worked so hard for over the years, decades. So there are products like that help when it comes to beneficiary designation, making sure that those funds go directly to the right person. So if you want to know how to do that, folks, just ask Freeman. Call me, 833-414-7233. Boy, there's a lot to cover in financial literacy.
There really is.
And,
that's why I love that you have that book and that you're willing to share it with people. Very important, and that's to anyone who calls and comes to see you.
Exactly. I like for them to be clients. I like for you to get your Social Security report. I love for you to get your tax efficient report. I've got software there to even determine whether or not should I keep a traditional IRA or should I get a Roth IRA? Will I be in a lower tax bracket or a higher tax bracket when I retire?
The risks, I love that part. And the really eye-opening part for me was how many fees. It wasn't just fees, but it was commissions of the brokers that were, I never even met them, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well,
so, it was eye-opening coming with an independent.
It does. You see the fees that did not participate in the growth of your asset.
Absolutely.
That's in that book, The 10 IRA Mistakes. I want to see that come up. And the tax traps, chapter after chapter of good, solid financial literacy and how to deal with safe money for some of your funds. Like I said, if you got $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million plus, take a piece of it so that you'll have the peace of mind that you know you have guaranteed lifetime income you'll never be able to outlive. Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233.
All right, you just gave me an idea for our topic for next week. We'll talk about safe money, how you can not have to roll the dice and have that financial freedom you need in retirement. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.